All right, planes and spaceships. Any ideas what I'm referring to? The bench should give a hint. So this is 3D Mark Vantage. Excuse me. And what what features prominently in 3D Mark Vantage? Spaceships for sure, and planes as well. All right. So what do I have right here? Still got our X299 OC formula. Chiller obviously for GPU and CPU, and this GPU block that I'm really happy with actually. It's an EK. Not only looks nice, but also gives really good performance on the stock cooler. Stock cooler. Well, I'm talking about that. This is roughly what the stock cooler looks like, and ooh, that's not looking great. Just the loading screen screwing up, it seems like. Yeah, so the stock cooler just has the one fan and all the air coming out here. So when I have it on the bench table next to me, not only does it sort of heat me up, which is great, but it also has pretty bad performance. So on the card I currently have in the system, and it's kind of an issue for both the memory and the core, so it's not ideal. The memory also doesn't get cooled properly on that card, so even though there is a backplate, for whatever reason the backplate gets really hot as well. Maybe it gets transferred from the front. Not really sure what's going on there, but anyway, wait for a few more people to file in. Yeah, looks like a slow day. End of the week for me. Breakaways are the best snack ever. Message to eat though. Kind of bothers me that Instagram doesn't have a good desktop client. So here come the planes that I was alluding to earlier. I'll give it a full run before I switch away from it or something. It's about 240 to 50 to 260,000 ops or so. I hope my capturing system. This is the first time I run this bench on on the capturing system, so just want to make sure it doesn't like influence the score or anything like that. I did briefly run a GT1 earlier, and it seemed to be within the margin of error. But let's see now. 45.2, not bad. 45.2. It's actually a better result than my current one, so that's nice. Here's the ranking. Not the global ranking. 45.2. That doesn't get me past jumpers, so 67 GPU scores. Pretty bad though. I'm just gonna save this as a reference. Is that legal? Just in case it ends up being my best sub, which I very much doubt. 45.3. And I was given a hint by League to attempt all this with help printing off, so I'll give that a go. Slow day, eh? Means I can eat more of these without anyone complaining about me eating on stream or something. Ah, green screen, I love it. Let's save it as Vantage. Maybe I need to retitle my stream. So 10 and 10. Sometimes CPU Z doesn't pick up the clock change, and sometimes it doesn't get applied because this is Skylake X. So here we go, 49 mult is what we want. I am. People should be awake. And what about the West Coast? Midnight? Okay, that's promising. But the audience that will definitely not be awake is 3 a.m. in New York, East Coast. There was leagues. Hint. I don't mind watching this and streaming it at the same time. Maybe I need to put out another shout out somewhere else on a different platform. I should have looked for it in frames. Next run. There's the spaceships in the title. I'll start bumping up the core clock by 5 megahertz at a time as well. I had it up to 1025, and that crashed, I think, but I'm at 1015 now, so. Or I think 1050 crashed. I'll have to check my notes. Yeah, 1025 failed, so I can try 1020 and see what happens. This is the longest graphics test in the history of 3D Mark. I think it's 2 minutes 40. Heaven is longer, but Heaven essentially only has one GT, or you can pretend that the 17 subtests or whatever are GTs, but there's no break in between them, so I don't consider those GTs. I think this is an XS piece, like another 5970 block. Just go for a fit. Not convinced. if this really fits. Hey, unsolicited computer advice. Pretty slow, to be honest. I'm streaming at the same time as I always stream and struggling to get viewers, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll wake up later on. How are you doing? So this is a Vantage, 3 Mark Vantage on a HT. Ooh, that helped a shit ton. Okay, 3 Mark Vantage on a HT 5970 on my usual 7900X. Well, I can just put up the rig, but what I just did was disable hyperthreading, and my last score was, okay, this is all just garbage. My last score was a 45.3 on the same clocks and everything, and for some reason got like 10k extra CPU score out of just disabling hyperthreading, so definitely saving that. And I might push the clocks up a bit now because I should be able to with for similar use. Okay, well, I can recommend the Elgato. I haven't had any problems with the Elgato. Well, I did have one problem with the Elgato. Let me just grab the screenshot and start a new run, and then talk about the Elgato. Let's get Afterburner in there. GPU. Yeah, that's about. Uh, 46.616. 46.616. So I'm on 5 gigahertz, and to be honest, it should be able to pass at 5.1. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to mess with BCLK or Encore, or Mesh as it's called on this platform, because that can be, first of all, it may not score better, and then second of all, it can destabilize things. So let's call this Vantage HT off. Sometimes the multiplier doesn't apply properly. Hi, Witch TV Inc. Welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you here before, but welcome. So, because the shouldn't run it twice. Because the CPU tests are heavier and they're faster to finish, I'll do a CPU test first to make sure that it really completes. Yeah, it's mesh. Mesh, damn it! Mesh! Nah, I'm just gonna close my balcony door before my neighbors complain about shouting or something. Alright. I can see this going places now. This is going to pass. I'm trying to think. So there's 2 computer tests in, or CPU tests in Vantage. That was CPU test number 1. This one is CPU test number 2. Number 2 has a warm-up phase. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. And then it's only a 15-second test. So actually, in terms of test time, you have 45 seconds of test. You have 30 seconds of CPU test number 1 and 15 seconds of CPU test number 2. We're going to pass here, and I'm immediately going to start a full run, and that's like a 4 or 5 minute run, so then I can answer questions and things. The score is actually lower, but maybe this will help the GPU tests, so we'll see. Yeah, so it's called Mesh on Skylake X. I can't remember. It's because it's not a ring architecture, it's a mesh architecture. Let's Google that shit just for shits and giggles. There should be some sort of a... I don't want to go on Anantech forums, of all things. Yes, an actual Anantech article is probably a better way of explaining things. Does this explain it? I think this is, well, this is a double ring architecture. Then here you've got your mesh. Anyway, it's just got higher latency between the cores than the ring architecture. So the 9900K is ring, so that's an 8-core with ring. Broadwell E, I think, is ring as well. Yeah, but I mean, it's easy to get it wrong, right? Encores, I like encore as a term because it's so universal. I think that like it kind of covers everything up for Intel all the way back to the original core architecture. Whereas mesh is a very HEDT specific thing. I mean, it's called Northbridge frequency for AMD. It's sort of like they all have their own terms, but mesh is just a beautiful word. That's why I like using it. That's all. Yeah, that's a decent way of explaining it. So, capture card. What do I have for a capture card? What do I have for a capture card? I have an Elgato Pro, I think it's called. Yeah. So this is what I've got in my PC. So what I've taken away that shroud. I don't think it really is necessary. Um, but it's a PCI 1X card. It's decently cheap. I haven't had any issues with it. Um, so a couple of things to be aware of, because I'm using it on Ryzen right here. I'm using it with an 1800X. There's this weird bug where the originally shipped firmware on these cards will not work in a 1X slot on a Ryzen system, which is all kinds of fucked up. To be fair, Elgato does have some sort of a return system, but because of it's not lots of things on your computer you can update the firmware yourself. Because there was never an intention to ever have the firmware updated on these cards. Why is the your name is just so long? I was wondering why this chat was off the screen, but I think that's acceptable. Because these cards were never expected to have user updatable firmware, you actually got to send the whole goddamn thing to Germany, where Elgato is based. Even though I think they were bought up by Corsair now, so that might be about to change. But you've got to send the card in, and either they like desolder a chip, or they've got a machine there that does it. Something that is not possible to do by the consumer. So what that means is that I would have been without my capture card for quite a few weeks, and it took me forever to debug this issue. I finally stumbled across a Reddit post. I just thought the card was dead because I have an M80X board. So fuck it. Let's deep dive into what is it called? Strix Asus. There's not that many M80X Asus boards. Yeah, that's the one, the Prime. So I've got this board. Let's go to proper pic of it. Yeah, possibly that's an EEPROM. I can't tell you offhand. I don't think they would even tell you, to be honest. But so here's my board. I'm not running an APU, so I've got to use the 16X slot for the GPU, right? And I've only got two 1X slots to choose from. So actually, I would have been completely dead. There's no way I'm going to get an APU just so I can run my capture card in the 16X slot, because the 16X slot works with the capture card. So what I ended up doing was, I think the bottom slot here, I just got a little scalpel and scalpeled out the little bit at the back here, and threw my GPU in there. So I think I have an HT 6350 or something. I threw the GPU in the bottom slot to have a nice gap, one slot gap between the two cards. and now my capture card is in the 16x slot, and it works perfectly fine. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a gonzo solution, but I preferred it to having to send away my capture card and not stream for a couple of weeks. So that's something to be aware of. Ooh, the result is actually worse. So where did we drop score? We dropped score on the CPU test, of all things. Oh, GPU test. Time for a bit more light. Sorry, sitting in the dark here. Okay. So specifically, what did we drop score on? GPU test 2 gained, GPU test 1 went down. It didn't, yeah. Hold on. This can't be right. Am I reading this wrong? How could the... Both tests actually have a higher FPS, but somehow the GPU score is lower. Oh no, the GPU score is higher. Nah, okay. Never mind. Okay, so both tests went down. Let's relaunch, and actually one thing to try is to set the resolution to the same resolution as the test. So that's 1280 by 1024. Hopefully we've got it here. Okay, obviously for screenshotting I'll have to do something else, but okay, I won't change anything else, just do a rerun. Okay, so let's try and catch up with chat. HT60S or HT60 Pro? I would say I used an LPG gamer or something. LPG. It'll come to me. Yeah, it was an Avermedia Live Gamer Portable. I think that's it. So this is what I originally used. Basically, all capture cards that aren't professional will be just HDMI in and out, so you have to be aware of adapting. You can passive adapt DVI to HDMI, but then you might have to get a separate cable for VGA to HDMI. What are you actually trying to use it for? Is it for gaming or overclocking? Because that's makes a big difference. So with this capture card, I had all kinds of issues with it dropping out and stuff. I wouldn't really recommend it. I'm hoping to sell my old one actually. But the HT60 Pro was great. Now, one advantage this had over the Avermedia was it would always do pass through, right? So you connect the HDMI in to your benching rig, and the HDMI out to your monitor. And even if the system that this USB capture card is connected to is turned off, as long as it's got power through the USB, you can still use your benching rig without streaming, so you don't have to recable every time you go from streaming to not streaming. On the Elgato, that's not the case because it's a PCI card. I guess it's just not possible to like power a PCI card with the system turned off. So what I now actually have is, let's see if I can show this without wrecking it. Maybe I need to just Google it, but you can kind of see it in the background there. I have of the rig camera. I have a HDMI splitter with a button on it. So what that means is you have one input. It can actually work both directions, but the only way that makes sense for me to use it is to have one input, two out, rather than the other way around, which would be two input, one out. Uh, yeah, I don't think I'll ever be streaming from two different rigs, which is what that would mean then. But one input, two out is really cool because then you can have one output going to the capture card and the other output going to the monitor. So it's kind of like you still need two inputs on the monitor, and you need to put your monitor on auto input. And then when you flip the button, it will pick up the other input. So that's great if your capture card fails or you just stop streaming or whatever. So yeah. Third monitor, yeah. Well, I use four monitors. Maybe I should put up like a pic of my streaming rig sometime. But I do a dual monitor setup on my streaming rig. Then I have a laptop just to show to play back my stream on in case it like drops out without me noticing on OBS or whatever. And then I have the actual raw monitor output from the rig as the fourth monitor, basically. So basically, I'm seeing in a triplicate at the moment. I'm actually seeing the same bench running on the streaming rig, my laptop, and on the actual bench rig. HD60S is just the USB version of the Elgato, isn't it? I would just say, in general, AverMedia wasn't as great as the Elgato. I have a feeling my CPU is running a little bit too hot. I have the RAM fan hooked up to the CPU header, so it spins up when there's load or when the CPU gets hot, and it's just spinning a little bit too much for my liking. I might have to start up hardware info or something and see. So, what do you like overclocking? Ah, I forgot to turn off the feature tests. God damn it. I think there's only 6 of these, but they're annoying as fuck. I've never actually consciously watched them, to be honest. So this is a first. You like memory? Memory overclocking, so memory frequency, SuperPi 32M, that kind of thing. Geekbench 3. These feature tests. Holy fuck. So many of them. MaxMem. TimeSpy Extreme has a really nice CPU test. It scales to a lot of threads, so if you don't have a HDT platform, it doesn't score very well, but it's a very heavy. Oh, it crashed on feature test. Now that's tragic. That is tragic. In all sorts of ways. It's just a really nice memory workout. Okay, let's have a look at the ranking. So I think I got a 40 what was it, a 46.3 or something? That's getting up into the sort of 30-point mark. I don't know why I'm getting green screen here. That seems to be a feature of this splitter. M9A. What's your hardware bot handle? Okay, let's try 1020. Z390 Dark is a really nice board. I just couldn't justify the expense of it. Okay. Yeah, if you have a modded Maximus 9, I wouldn't imagine that you necessarily need a dark as well. Okay. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, I'm going to watch for the end frame this time around. If it's actually going to load up. Now, the submissions format is loose as fuck. Once you get used to it, it's yeah, you wish it would be less strict, more strict actually. That's my opinion at least. Um, so what was? Okay, it was 46.6. Dodgy HDMI cables. Not great. I just lost display out, but at least I could recover it. I'm hearing weird coil whine kind of noises here. Come on, please run the bench this time around. No, it doesn't seem to like that. I'll have to check my afterburner settings, make sure that ULPS is off, that kind of shit. $2,500K, 2080 Ti Time Spy. That's the oddest combination of CPU and GPU I've ever heard of. Okay, I'm going to drop one CPU multiplier, see if that fixes things. Yeah, we've got our ULPS off. Is that you're looking at the Hall of Fame? What the hell is going on with this test? It's just not running anymore. Okay, I might have to throw in a stock run to debug what's going on here. There's many things that haven't been overclocked. I get components all the time, like I have a Vega Nano, and I don't think there's any scores up. I could be wrong, but and I mean like no scores whatsoever. Okay, let's do a stock run. Yeah, Time Spy regular might not, but Time Spy Extreme has a different physics test. Let's try again. If this doesn't work, I might have to do a driver reinstall or a Vantage reinstall. That looks bugged. Yeah, I don't know why the card is bugging out like that. Ten more seconds. Okay, let's skip the CPU overclock and what's a reasonable thing to try? Okay, let's literally go 100 megahertz less on both clocks and see if it will run. Oh, the render test is fine. Okay, next step will be trying to. The annoying thing about Vantage is it doesn't give you partial scores. So on Firestrike, if you select all tests and quit out after test 1, it will still give you the test 1 score. But here you have to make sure you select only test 1, let it complete, and then it'll give you the FPS. I guess I could look for end frames as well, but I don't know what's going on here. I think I may have to reinstall the driver. So if anyone doesn't know, DDO, display driver uninstaller, is the way to uninstall drivers, to really clean it out. Well, I hope there's not something wrong with the card. The card is really good on memory. Ooh, proper green screen. I hope the card isn't screwed. I really didn't do anything too bad to it. I literally just went to 1.3 volts core, but I'm on chiller, so I didn't even touch memory voltage. I could always, right now I'm using the mini HDMI. I could switch to DVI, see what happens there. Sometimes display outputs on cards do actually die. Yeah, but you can adapt DVI to HDMI, so what's a little bit more annoying is when a card only has DisplayPort actually. Okay, so we have our normal colors back. That's something. Next step would be render test. Render test is fine. Next step after that is stock run. Again, GT1. Vantage is famous for needing lots of reinstalls and stuff, so I'm not surprised, but I don't want to take any chances with this card. Well, there we go. If it's somewhat degraded in terms of core voltage, then I'm happy with that, but let's see. Let's give it a little bit more volts. Let's see what happens. I crash. Okay, time for another bench. Just in case it's a vantage only problem. Heaven is a good one to try. Ooh, application corrupt. Maybe something like skydiving then. Yeah, 1080p 60. I mean, I would have imagined that 560 Ti didn't really do high frame rate anyway, unless I'm completely missing something here. Oh. I'm not having much luck with these installers, am I? 05, no, I don't want to do 05. Okay, let me just quickly recopy that crap. Windows 10 is so aggressive with deleting benchmark files. It's kind of insane. Heaven. Okay, so I'm copying over heaven. On 3D Mark, which will take a little bit longer. That's 4 gigs. Just gonna check GT2 to see if that is also bugged like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm swapping over display outs. just while I'm waiting for my benches to copy over. Also gonna go stock CPU settings. USB sucks for file transfer. I've learned to appreciate how crap it is. It really does. I don't know why the speed drops sometimes, and so we still have green screen. One minute and 45 seconds remaining. I mean, it's not the most expensive USB stick ever, but it still sucks. Will we get a run at least? Is it my imagination, or is that artifacting actually a different type of artifacting now? Okay, let's see what kind of a score we get at the end. I hate that when a device is just big for no reason. That's ridiculous. Pretty trippy. So what's our end frame? 9,250. 92 FPS isn't bad. Unfortunately, this site has gone offline recently, but there's a calculator here that I'd like to show people. Please, Emma, bring back your site. We need it. So let's go back a couple of years. Go. It is loading. There's the 3 mark calculator, and then gotta go to the Vantage section. I'm gonna rerun meanwhile on my favorite settings. Okay, so we said we had a 9250 end frame for GT1. So that gives you 92.6, 92.5 FPS. So that'll give you an idea of stuff when you're in the middle of a test. Oh, see, now we're getting runs. Now we're getting runs with the overclocks applied. What the hell? With no CPU overclock. So what happened there? I don't get it. CPU isn't overheating. Okay, let's just see what FPS we get out of this. Just gonna extract my 3D mark. Well, what I can say so far is I'm pleasantly surprised by the extra score, better score with hyperthreading off. This is basically a completely unartifacted GT1 now. I don't get it. I've tried this before. Okay, let's watch for the end frame, guys. Really important. Especially on LN2 and those kind of cooling methods, you don't have the luxury of being able to just rerun everything 100,000 times. So now we've got about a 9.4. I'm going to call it a 9.4. So 94. Yeah, okay, a little bit more than 9.4. Okay, so of course the immediate question becomes now, what aspect of our CPU or our system overclock rather do we need to change, or was it just, I don't know, was it just, I don't know, guys. I really don't know, guys. I'm just gonna have to step it back up again on the system side and then push it hard. So weird. If anyone has any ideas. Okay. Yeah, HDMI splitter, I don't really like you. You give me this green screen crap. Got some new people on the stream. Welcome. This is sometimes an extreme overclocking stream, but I don't always have LN2 available. So right now I'm just doing some pre-testing. I do want to run this exact card and system with the CPU on LN2 and try and get the top spot. Okay, so see now, guys, so this has stepped up the RAM a little bit. Encore should still be low. Oh, it actually didn't apply. That can happen. Press and delete is definitely my least favorite part of overclocking. And you have to do it so damn often, but I still don't like it. Okay. apply this time, damn it. It's giving me an EE. I have pretty good paste under here. I don't know what's really going on. I have good cooling on the RAM. I don't know why the RAM would suddenly refuse to do 3600. Alright, let's do something silly. Let's step up from 3466. Sometimes that can help. This board in a dual channel configuration actually won't do over 3600 for me, no matter what the timings. It'll do 38 whatever once the BCLK is applied, but in terms of posting something, then again, this chip is really new. This is the second week I've had this chip, so once again smashing the delete key. No, it's really not happy. It is really not happy. I wouldn't have expected the chip to be, or the system to be the issue tonight, considering I've been running it at these settings all week, basically. The other thing I can do is I can drop down the CPU mount. Let's try that. Let's go. Let's just completely take the piss. Go down really low. Because 4.5 all-core is something that's somewhat hard to post. I just wonder if I get some sort of an accumulation of heat underneath the block. I don't know why I would, because my water is chilled to 12 degrees or whatever, but okay, I think I'm onto the right track here. No, I don't want to rename it. But I do want my 3600 RAM. I'm not going to compromise on that. If I need to post with a lower CPU multiplier, I'm completely fine with that. Okay, there we go. This is looking more reasonable now. Where are we at? 40. That's completely fine. I wonder what I should do next in terms of runs. fully apply everything. Maybe just one full run at 4G. Bump up the core by 5 megahertz or something. I'm open to suggestions. I could do an all uncore and RAM run actually, just in case the CPU core is somehow the issue. Let's do that. So there, yeah, okay. Save. But I do want to be cheeky and go up 5 megahertz on the core. That's beautiful. Just the I don't know what these other temps signify, but the nice thing is that VDDC is a true VDDC on this card, so I have it set to force the V-core on the GPUs. This is technically a crossfire configuration, even though it's only one card. But let's give that a go. Let's do a full run. See where we're at, and then we can just step it back up again. Yeah, so exclamation RIG will always give you the actual rate that I'm overclocking. Of course, I don't have the GPU in there. I thought I could make a point of saying that that command is always going to give you the truth, but of course today I missed out on the GPU. Yeah, it really doesn't like those extra 5 megahertz on the core, does it? Let's actually just do a full run like that. I'm suspicious of this whole setup at the moment. Alright, here we go. That's better. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave out mesh and BCLK and RAM overclocking completely, and I'm just going to do a flat 5G on the core. And now I'm gonna let it run through. Okay, let's do a little bit of theory crafting here. As it hangs on system info. Shit. Okay, so there's a few results for Vega Nano, but it's basically all the same Polish person here, with a few Aussies sprinkled in. Um, uh, yeah. So first place here is Old Scarface. Okay, let's get another run going. I think I didn't set vCore to be fair, so that would make sense. The fact that it hung on system info. Yeah, that's a really low vCore. Okay, so I also need to set about 1.45. So we've got our 2.8. Maybe that was it to be honest. Maybe the vCore was never. Maybe the profiles in Formula Drive just reset themselves or something. Okay, this is it. I'm actually doing a full run now, and it's gonna succeed. Okay, so here's our current standing. So I knocked out a 46.6 or so, I think. So around here. What the hell is going on with this rig? Man. Did thermal paste fail or something? Okay, just gonna see if GT1 will start for me, and then I'll apply GPU clocks and do a full run, which feels like I've been saying that for the last half an hour. What do people think about music on the stream? I'd like to have some background music, but there's always that issue with the copywriting. Um, yeah, I agree. It is interesting to see what systems do well in which tests. Okay, this is where we blue screened the last time. Okay, that's fine. So let's apply 3D clocks and give it a run. Thanks for all for joining the stream today. I thought for a second everyone was going to still be asleep, but this is the time I like to stream on a Friday night now. What the hell is going on with this system? Okay, I'm done with Vantage. Vantage is completely soured on me now. Time for 3 Mach 11. Or maybe GPU Pi could be a good option. But let's try 3 Mach 11. I don't think I even have a two-way score on 3 Mach 11. Yeah, just a single card score. Let's... man. Hello. Let's try a different USB port, shall we? Or maybe not. Yeah, I really need to set up my studio speakers in this room so I can run that in the background. I can obviously pump music straight into the stream, but I'd rather listen to it myself too. Look at these transfer rates. Maybe I should go to the trouble of installing the chipset driver or some shit, because this is just a bit embarrassing. Ooh, it's actually working. Finish. Yeah, this is the sad state of affairs for 3D Mark 11 for me. Probably one of my least benched benches. My top score for a single card is 4,000 points when the world record is 56,000. So that's a slight discrepancy there. Meanwhile, there's other benches where I'm like globally second. So yeah, okay, Vega Mobile. So that sort of explains things. Okay, just gotta go off screen here so I can add my own key that I paid for with my own money. Uh, you didn't see that? Hopefully you didn't see that. Okay, yes, so I'd like to say we're in business, but it's all relative really. The rig is running. That's about all I can say. Test is off. Benchmarks only, of course. Actually, let's just do a GT1. That's all I really care about. And since there's a windowing mode here somewhere, isn't there? Since we have the luxury of running this in window mode, let's keep GPU Z open and look at both the CPU and GPU temps, because I'm just suspecting something a bit fishy here. So CPU temp is 19, that sounds amazing. But let's see how we go. 20 now. 29, 30. Oh no, that's the VRM temp. Okay, pretty slow on the system info. That's fine. I mean, it's running, and the temps are okay. Let's apply the Vantage overclock and see how it behaves. This time in full screen, because windowed mode is actually not hardware bot legal. Yeah, so to get an idea of what I'm aiming for, I always have like what I call a hit list. Ah, man. Weird how it's centered like that, but okay. So we're seeing like 67 FPS. Where's our... Oh, that's an early hang, isn't it? Not recoverable either. Okay, I'm gonna have to call it and throw in a different card. I don't know what's going on with this card, but it's not good. Whatever it is, it's not good. So I have 3 of these cards. Here's a black plastic dip one without a block on it. This is my card number 2. The one in there is 3. In there is card number 3, and this is the fully heat sinked one. So let's throw that in and just get a score out. Okay, slightly different look there. Not as impressive. Um, it does help to hook up the quick connect, otherwise the CPU won't be happy. Assuming BIOS reset itself. It did. Okay, here's our 3 Mark 11 section. 30k physics, we're not going to get touched, I don't think. And then of course 1065 on core with air cooler is pretty adventurous. But we can just have a look to see how it goes. And then also I think entry and extreme are a little bit easier to achieve, 970 on core. Okay, so should have all gotten recognized pretty easily. It's the same card as before. Or maybe not. Quick random tests. Nice. Let's start off at 900. Okay, can't even set that. $850 then. Ah, 1200 in memory. I thought every card would do that. 1150, 850. Extended MSI and reference design seem to be the same thing in terms of how much volts you get. Let's see if this extended overclocking limits thing does anything. Nope, still the same limits as before. Okay, here we go, single GT. What's on the front page these days? Third 2M. Ooh, 8700K is a bit more exotic these days. $5.5 on single stage. For a 7980 XC, that's really strong. So that was about a 40 FPS. Good thing about 3 Mark 11 is it's faster than Vantage. Still about 40 FPS. Time to set test to off. Or rather, set it to on and see what happens. That screen centering is really weird. That didn't do anything at all. Time for a little bit of core OC and see what happens there. I mean, in general, test off should do something, but maybe not that exact GT. Let's actually go to benchmark resolution as well. Still in the middle of the screen. It's kind of odd. Looks about the exact same speed, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, now I'm really curious. Does a core OC do anything? Let's give it 75 megahertz. Okay, let's look at the other results around. We've got Bilco's run, 53 GT1. If I can't beat a 53 GT1, that... Okay, we've got a faster start. Previously we started at 50. Now we started at 53, temporarily at least. And instead of dropping to the 35s and 36s, we're at about 40 in the middle there. 38, 39. Okay. Gonna have to give it a bit more cooling. Alright, it's gonna get loud. Oh, this fan isn't actually as bad of a nick as the other fan. It's not as loud. It really doesn't like me setting anything, does it? Okay, screw it. I'm going on to something else, like W prime or something. I'll have to re-enable those threads though. This will be nice for 10 core globals. Need to run it as administrator. Or maybe not. Let's try that again. This is one of the pickiest benches to extract for some reason. So I'm going to copy over the non-extracted version and extract it locally. I wonder what kind of 32M will be possible, since it's going to be so fast on 20 threads. Let's just double check that we really have 20 threads. Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, it's the same thing I just had. Replace for sure, because the other one's shortcut should work now actually. Okay, so we want 20 threads. Let's call this W prime. It's 4.4. Okay, so that's a 2.246. And I don't have the slightest idea what's a good result here, so let's check. Hi White Shark, you're coming at a very opportune time. Good morning. Hope you're having a good day. I had a good day, but the stream has been nothing but fail so far. But let's change that together. So 2.246. My graphics cards are not cooperating. The rig info is correct, but I've moved on to 2D because I've swapped the graphics card twice and I'm getting all kinds of weird crashes. So, oh, that's right. There's no globals for this shit. So 2.246, 246. Okay, we're right in the ballpark. Beating these KJJ Webb and Falcon person people. Since it's such a short bench, I'm gonna try 1.5 VCore, and if it doesn't score well, I can still change things. That didn't seem to apply for some reason. Okay, well, we'll see. If it doesn't pass stuff, then... Now, there we go. Now it's applied. Okay, let's call that a baseline, shall we? Okay, so we're very much in the running for beating besting 2 seconds, which is decent. That's top 100. Very comfortably. So Where's our V-core? Better put that in the screenshot. There we go. So let's keep upping our modes. Okay. One 1.997 is kind of interesting because 1.997 would always be nice to beat Slinky, actually. That's right around where we should be. I don't know if it's going to pass 5.1. I can pass physics at 5.1, but for it to actually pass a multi-core, like a heavier multi-core bench, would be a tougher ask, but let's see. Oh, now it's going to do the thing where it doesn't, or maybe it does, load up CPU Z. Okay, that's applied. Yeah, but it's not scoring better. Let's just give it a couple of reruns. Maybe bump the uncore a little bit, or the BCLK rather. Just double check that it's actually applying. Okay, so it's time for the old W prime relaunch tweak. Yeah, this is how W prime works. More clock, same score. Could try a bit more mesh, I suppose. Mesh never hurts. So White Shark, what's up with you? Benching anything lately, like Team Cup or something? That's a hang. So yeah, I didn't like that extra mesh. Yes, it is a bit of a random number generator, but you know, buying an SS, where are you getting your SS from? You know what I'm actually really interested in is Cinebench 15, just to see it on 20 threads. Will be interesting. So I'm just gonna go copy that over in the background. Okay, so I'm already sort of stuck for ideas here, but let's see. Let's see what we can come up with. Let's go all the way back to what we had. Nacht Falke, okay. Nacht Falke is a really good bencher. Um, so we got a 1.966, which is way better, but it actually froze there. Is the OS still okay? Yeah, the OS is still okay. So maybe we just got a lucky boot out there or something. So let's do without minimize trick and see if we would still get a 1.966 or thereabouts. Okay. All right. Probably just a lucky boot or whatever, but this is W prime, guys. Especially the 32M variety, especially on high core counts. Yeah. So the nice thing about 1.966 is it just beats Linky and aka H2O versus LN2, and also OGS. So that's nice. Subaru is also a pretty much um, semi-retired bencher. That's okay. So where do we go from here? So 1.966. Beating 6950X's on LN2 is always nice. We're nowhere near any of the nice. A 5.2 gigahertz LN2 result on a 7900X. I don't know what this guy was doing, but probably ran out of LN2 or had mount issues or. Ooh, -2 load. Seems weird. Okay, just because the option exists, let's go with 52 mult. I don't expect this to pass, but stranger things are known to have happened. Okay, so the mult is applied. Let's let it run this way. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't really expect this, but there we go. We should be reaching the end of the line here soon. I don't know how. I mean, 5.3. There's an outside chance of 5.3. I'm not going to say it's not going to pass. It's such a short bench, but 5.4 on this cooling method, I would consider close to impossible. So 1.918 gets us close to this LN2 score. Beats Hiwa, the legendary Swiss overclocker Hiwa, on 6950X LN2. And then of course we're talking things like, oh, Tractor. What was Tractor doing to? He probably had a few little tweaks up his sleeve. But let's see. So that's screenshotted. Let's go for 5.3. I mean, why not? So are you buying it from Nachtfalke because he has a spare one, or is it a retiring kind of deal? See, it won't even set 5.3 for me. Skylake X just does this sort of intelligent thing where if it deems a certain frequency to be unobtainable, basically, it just doesn't even set it. But what we can do is bump up the BCLK. So what was it, 1.918? Okay, that's a hang. Retire, yeah. Lots of that going on, unfortunately. He's such a good bencher. Okay, let's do the 1024M because that gives globals, so that's, I'm happy with that result. I'm really happy considering no preparation went into it. Unlike the 3 benching where I did a lot of preparation and it still went to shit. So let's see if we can get a 5 gig run out. Top 50 would be nice in this. It won't count towards my globals, but the globals drop off way too quickly. But let's do it. No, I don't need another CPU Z. Just run a couple of 32Ms just as a palette cleanser. Okay, let's do it. Might be too much V-core to be honest. It might overheat or whatever, but what did I want? So about a 60-second run. Oh, 10 seconds at 20%. So about a 50-something second run. Well, it slows down in the end. So we'll see how it goes. So 53.7, so we're just outside the top 50. 52.277 is a 50th place. Let's see our efficiency kind of. There's a 53.7. Yeah, so in the 5 gigahertz range, that's fine. Alright, definitely saving that. It's 5.1 doable. I have my doubts, but gotta give it a try. We could end up with a slower, well, we could end up with a hang, but we could also end up with a slower score if we were just sort of close to thermally throttling on the last run, and the extra current required for the extra 100 megahertz just kind of puts us over the top. But let's see how it goes. Seems to be in about the same ballpark. Yeah, so SS is amazing. Mine is still being repaired. I'm making do with the chiller, but I wish I had an SS for some stuff, especially like memory testing and stuff. 52.8, so that knocked about a second off, so that is roughly what I would expect. So we need to take another 52.8, another 500 and something milliseconds off. Let's try 5.2, why not? What have we got to lose here? Could kill the chip, but you know, no risk, no fun. So that's set. Oh, I hate that screen wipe. I think that loses you time when that happens. I don't know. I'm skeptical about this run, but let's see. Okay, that's first page. That's literally 50th spot. Right here around Sir Try a Lot. 16 globals, which is not going to factor into my top 30 globals. 17 hardware points or thereabouts. And some team point, well, probably no team points on OCN. I should give Minimize a try, just out of curiosity. Okay, so that's minimized. I'm going to start a timer. Uh, that fan spinning. $20 in. The excitement is building. Okay. It's literally the exact same score. Let's do a cheeky 32M just to see. No. Let's go up an entire BCLK. I want to see a crash here. Timer started. Oh, that sounds like a crash. Yeah, that's a crash. Okay, next up, Cinebench. Actually, still waiting for that to copy over, but four minutes. Okay, let's see how we do on entry. Going up against, what was it again? An FX. Oh, Extreme was a FX. Either way, let's see. Let's see how it goes. The good stuff? 3 Mach 11? Or you mean Cinebench? It's good to sub a baseline run. Having problems with the graphics card, so that's about all I can do, but have you run it on AMD actually, White Shark? Because I'm having trouble. These benches are my least, the benches I'm least familiar with in terms of graphics. 3 Mach 11 and Vantage. And Vantage is DirectX 10. So my understanding is that LOD works up to DirectX 9 and tessellation works DirectX 11. So 10 would mean that there is no LOD or tessellation off. And I tested both and they weren't faster, so that kind of makes sense. But 3 Mach 11 is DirectX 11, so I would have expected TESS off to do something, and it really didn't seem to do anything for GT1 at least, when I was testing it earlier. Let's have a quick look at this person's. It's a 9900K though, so always tough to beat those things. So what are we on now? GT3, and he has 104 FPS. I'm down at 70 something. Vega. I assume you turn Tess off. Okay, that one makes sense. I'll just run a Tess on, Tess off. Combine will probably be slow, won't it? I'm just going to do full run. Entry, I mean, it should still show on entry, especially with the GPUs on stock, which is only 712 megahertz. I hate how long this test takes to load up. Maybe it's GT3, maybe that's why I was so far behind on that test. Yeah, shut up. It's looking a bit like GT3, isn't it? So we're talking 64, 59, 70, 34 versus 84. So 20 FPS in that test, 30 in the middle one. So that was the test off run. Alright, 4 minutes left for this damn file copy. I really don't know. Maybe I got counterfeit USB drives or something, but these things are just so slow, especially when you're copying small files. Less test and entry than performance. Well, we're about to get the definitive answer here, so I really need to up my game on this in general, just because this is going to be embarrassing. So, world record is 60K. I have a 6K run, and I don't have a 2, 3, or 4-way result. And what would it even be? I guess something like yeah, 980. I'm about to get 3 980s in actually, so I could run the Hall of Fame and 3 Kingpin 980s. I think that might happen. Yeah, if I can get them to clock similar to this on water, I might take the 3 Mach 11 entry uh, global first. Could take a few team points. So that's entry, and then performance isn't looking better. I think for performance, my quote unquote fastest run is on Vega 8 mobile. Yeah, Vega 8 mobile. And extreme probably doesn't even look. Probably even looks worse than entry, if anything. Ooh, I have a two-way extreme run. HG 5870. Oh, that's right. I don't think this ended up counting. So GT4, then physics, then combined. I'm kind of, well, I mean, I like 3 Micro 1 because with its 7 tests because it's just amazing. But in general, I prefer the um, stuff that has, the benches that have like 2 GTs. Combined was always a funny one. Geekbench is buggy as hell. I don't like it. Especially Geekbench 4, single core. It's all kinds of wonkiness with that test. So we had an 11.9 and now we have an 11.3. Okay, so time for a quick comparison. Yeah, so GT1, like I suspected, doesn't have any tests, it seems like. GT2 seems to have some tests, GT3 as well. Yeah, 2, 3, and 4, so it's only GT1 that doesn't have tests. Okay, let's run this damn Cinebench. Even though with only 2 memory channels, it can be a bit dodgy. Okay. Let's do 4G run just to see how quick it is on 20 threads. Fan isn't even spinning up. This is on the stock V core, the auto V core. $2,200. Okay, that gives us a baseline. Straight to 5G, I reckon. Let's find the max PCLK first, actually. Oh, I hate these sliders because they go up to 2,000, which is obviously completely unrealistic. 2,000 BCLK. Not even a Rex will do that. Let's go 102.5. We're still on the stock mesh, so the mesh shouldn't hold us back. It's just for the max memory, essentially. But Cinebench scales with memory channels, so I know I'm going to be in trouble here. It's just a question of how much in trouble. I think TimeSpy would complete up to 104 BCLK. Well, let's just go in small steps. So that's 103. Yeah, sliders do suck, especially when they're just nonsensical like this one. Okay, that's going to complete. Okay, that's the 2300 broken. Let's so the record is 3361. Obviously not getting anywhere close to that today. But front page is possible. We can potentially beat PKBO. But the score just dropped. So let's go back and see if that's repeatable. So if we actually get more than 2308, and then that will tell us that we're sort of coming into instability here. No, okay. Let's do an off screen. I don't want to apply any unnecessary tweaks. Lower, actually. Okay. That might have something to do with the adaptive V-core. So next step will be going like up to 1.4, which I know shouldn't cause any thermal issues yet. .425. Save it. See if it applied. CPU Z just sucks ass. Okay, screw it. Yeah, I know it applied because the fan spins now, so that's a good way of knowing. Okay. Broke the 2500. Let's get a quick snap of that. Or not so quick if my CPU Zs bug out. I think 4.9 should be possible here. Oh, I forgot about the BCLK. Let's give it a try anyway. Yeah, okay. It's not going to do 5.1. Surprise, surprise. Let's do 48 run. Kind of sad about this HDMI splitter giving me these weird green screens. Oh, I've got a stuck thread there. It's not good. Let's go like half a BCLK lower and see what happens. I wonder what kind of VCore PKBO pumped through his system. He's known for doing like 1.6 VCore on water and stuff. Well, so-called water. I don't know if it's chiller or water, but he claims it's water. What was that do? Well, still got a stuck thread, I think. I keep going down in half BCIK steps. I just want one more run to actually complete. Yeah, it's kind of new to me too. I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing this when I last overclocked X295 299. That was a 7820X on LN2, which I then sold straight away. Uh, Maybe Priority could fix it. It's getting worse. Okay, let's look for some clues here. Ah, 1.33 volts. Uh, GTL not showing. Okay, let's maybe it is a heat thing. Let's approach this from a different angle. Let's go lower V core rather than lower clocks. .375 and good to go. Well, it gave a result, but stuck. Okay, let's go down an entire multiplier, see if we can get a clean run out. I'd rather that than trying to brute force something. I like to play around with the encore a little bit. Okay, that's ultra road, I think. I'll have to debug that in my own time. But yeah, those stuck threads are kind of weird. Next live stream will be live stream 50, and I don't know what I want to do for it. I want to do something special, maybe an N2 stream or something, but it's sort of crept up on me. 50 is a big number. Yeah, so this was a mixed 3D 2D stream. Hopefully it was of some value. Talk to you guys next time.